Welcome to Redneck Outfitters, where the labor's cheap and the advice is free. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, welcome to Redneck Outfitters 1. Today's an exciting day. The transmission's here, and we're going to try to get it put in. Got to get all the bushings and all the good shock pads and all that stuff put on there, and hopefully get that in. Maybe if we make enough progress, we can get the axle shafts back on it and get everything together. Get this thing ready for the body to come down on the chassis. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Stick around. You get notified of when we got a new video coming out. I'm not sure what all's going to happen. As you can see by my attire, the temperature in Illinois has took a dip on us, which I'm not sure what that's going to do to my painting process. Might have to get a garage heater, but we'll worry about that later. Today's transmission day, so we're going to get right to it. Stay with us. You know, the idea of rebuilding a car from the ground up kind of came to me after in 2021 I rebuilt my 1949 8-in tractor, including the motor. I did everything on the motor except for grinding the valve seals because I didn't have the equipment, and putting the sleeves in the cylinders because I wanted to make sure they was done right and I didn't tear anything up. But so I started looking around and trying to decide what kind of car I would like to rebuild. You know, if I had unlimited funds and space and lift and all of that good stuff, it would probably be a early 70s Nova. I've always liked those, never had one, but I've always liked those. But you know, I had to limit myself a little bit to what I had to work with, and garage space, and what I could actually do here. So I tossed around trying to figure out what to do, and you know, I had a Volkswagen years ago I'd bought off my grandpa in 1970, and I took auto mechanics in high school at vocational school, and our teacher was a nut, Volkswagen nut. And so we did a lot of work on Volkswagen, so I was a little bit familiar with them, and I knew they weren't real hard to work on. So I decided on the Volkswagen Beetle. And you know, being a mechanic, a general maintenance mechanic, and working on different things, the mechanical part I thought was going to be easy and something I could handle. The body work, I wasn't sure whether I was going to try to find a body that was already done or try to do it myself. You know, I'd probably save myself a lot of time and money if I'd have just got a body that was in good shape or had already been repainted, but I don't think I'd be happy with that. You know, I want to make this thing mine, and I'd like to do the work myself. You know, it's going to take me longer and cost me more money, I'm sure, but anyway, that was the game plan. So I went with the Volkswagen, and you know, but this transmission just fought me and fought me, and I had trouble getting that cable through that hole, and I ended up putting this transmission in, and there you see me spraying a little luber on it. So I ended up pulling it back off and drilling that hole out a little bit. I don't know if where they painted it, made that hole a little bit smaller where that cable just did not want to go in there. So I drilled it out a little bit and then started all over again, put everything back in, and I got it in. And I'd seen YouTube videos where they put the axle shafts in the horizontal position like it's going to be sitting here pretty soon, and I tried that and it just wasn't working. So I ended up taking this thing off, putting it back on the bench, putting the axles on it on the bench, and then putting it back in. And I'll show you pictures after. I didn't have the video of all of that, me putting this thing in for the third time, so I figured I'd spare you that expense. But I finally got her in there, and felt good about it. So it was a long day and a tough day, but she don't look too bad. Upcoming is the second attempt to put this thing in, and I sped up the video a little bit. That way you don't have to sit through several minutes of me pushing and pulling. And I didn't have the audio. I got rid of the audio basically because I didn't want you people to listen to me grunt and groan and cuss and piss and moan. So this is me doing things a little faster after I drilled that holder out a little bit, and it did slide in a little bit easier, but man, trying to line up bolts underneath and that thing and get everything pushed in without pushing stuff back out, it was tough. So but I finally got it. Like I said, I got to looking at it and I got to trying to put the axles in. I didn't have that on video because I was going to be right in the way of it and in a bad angle anyway. So it's a good thing because I ended up taking it back off and putting it up there, like I said, on the workbench and putting the axles in there. It was a much easier, and it just saved me from tearing my body up even worse. But I finally got her in there.
I've been asked how's come my YouTube program is called Redneck Outfitters 1. And I guess the reason is I'm a bit of a redneck, not in a bad way. I just do things with what I have. I do some unconventional things, and you know, the outfitters part pretty much came from my first few videos were of my farm or hunting videos and that sort of thing. And the one, because it's just me. And you know, I've done a lot of hunting alone over the last several years since I bought my farm back in 2005. And you know, when I'm doing projects here in the garage or on the house or whatever, I like to do them by myself. You know, I don't want to shide anybody or what have you, but you know, it's a lot more relaxing when I'm doing stuff by myself, my way. Whether it's the right way or the wrong way, who knows, but I get the job done. Today was one of those days, and you know, I got that transmission put in, as you seen earlier in the video, and then I got to looking at it, and I thought, you know, I saw them on YouTube put the axle shafts in while it's sitting on the car chassis like this, and with my body, my back, my neck, both of being fused up, it wasn't working at all. I could not get in the right position, could not get things to work right. So I took the transmission all the way back off, put it up here on the workbench, and turned it over where I could put the axle shafts in on the bench, which was a lot easier, but it also made it a lot heavier to put it back down here on the chassis and set it on the jack. And then of course you had to move, had the arms in your way, and you had this and that, and once I got it in there, I thought, damn, am I going to be able to get these covers on? And I was able to finagle it around and get it put back together. So the transmission is in, the axle shafts are in, the axle housings are in, everything's bolted down, the shocks are tightened up, all the other bolts are tightened up, so pretty soon it'll be time to put the backing plates and brakes and what have you on, and the brake lines here on the rear end, and get some tires swapped around where I can roll this thing around a little bit, and it'll be time to start on the getting ready to put the body back on the chassis. You know, I was thinking about painting the body, or at least primering the body, spray primer, before I put it on the chassis, but I thought, you know, I don't want to scratch something up, so if I scratch something up in the shape it's in right now, no big deal, we can fix it. So that's the next plan, is to get the rest of this rear end on, and then get the seal on the chassis. I have to get everything all cleaned up because it's a mess, and where I can be able to roll this thing around, roll it out in the garage, or outside the garage, and then get my body hung up here, and then get my chassis shoved up underneath it, and then lower the body down. So that's the game plan. But the transmission is in, axle shafts are in, appears things are turning all right. I still got to hook up the shifter. Of course, I got the little screw somewhere that I put, and I can't find it. So, so am I going to have to buy one or find it or do something? But anyway, that's a long ways off anyhow. So that's the game plan for now. But it's been a tough day. Been a tough day. So stay with us.